people don't understand the feeling of going to school and you sit next to a friend, and that same night you hearing that friend was murdered, and you sitting in that same desk that next day, and he not there, and you realize he not coming back here. He didn't transfer to another school. He wasn't sick. Like, he's not coming back, period.
I'm Taylor Rooks, and these are conversations about defining one's relationship to Blackness and how that defines their America.
Wade DeMar, same question I ask everybody first on this series. When did you realize that being Black was different from being white?
Playing basketball always gave me the opportunity to see different places, be around different places. And I think the first time, I think I was in ninth grade, we drove out like 2 hours away to this school, this white community, and I've seen for the first time how different their schools were, facilities, just everything about that culture was like night and day from us. And it used to, from then on, it used to make me question, like, damn, why they stuff better? Why they have this better? Why they talk better? Or why they dress better? Why? So many questions came about, and as I continue to get older, I seen the separation from, privilege to, where we came from, getting everything, feeling like leftovers and making it work. That's when I first started noticing it.
When you noticed it, that disparity and like the huge difference, how did that make you feel?
It leaves you numb for a while, for me personally, because you was just trying to figure it out, and as I became older and started to see things differently, it just always left a question mark with a lot of things, and something I never even told people out loud was when I went to college, even though I went to SC, that was 15, 20 minutes away from Compton, I had a culture shock. Like, it was the first time that I was really consistently around, white people. And you seeing everybody with laptops, talking with a different type of vernacular, like the slang was out, like it was so many things that was so different from my culture. And it was kind of intimidating, It was kind of intimidating because that was like the first time where I'm in an environment that didn't feel like me or feel comfortable. And I felt like they was looking at me differently other than just being an athlete, and that was kind of a frustrating adjustment that I had to get used to in college.
I'm sorry, ma'am. The gentleman's already explained it to you.
Okay, tell it to me again. You telling me we cannot eat here?
So unfortunately, we do have a dress code. If you have some non-athletic shorts.
But that white kid out there can eat here with his tennis shoes on and his athletic shirt.
So we allow tennis shoes, but not athletic shorts and t-shirts.
He has one. You telling me that's not an athletic shirt? Not that one. But you telling me that little boy who just ate here does not have on an athletic shirt?
I'm sorry. I would love for you to be able to come back and eat here.
So you telling me my son can't eat here because he has on athletic stuff?
No, just the shorts. It is part of our dress code. We try to enforce
So it's only his shorts? Only the shorts can't be athletic?
The shorts and the t-shirt, yes.
But the little boy has on an athletic, the little white kid that just sat out there had on an athletic tennis shoes and an athletic shirt.
I understand that you're upset. If there's
No, it's not that I'm upset. The little boy out there had on athletic, you telling me it's no athletic wear. The little boy out there had on athletic tennis shoes and an athletic shirt. So why does he get to wear athletic wear and my son can't?
I would love for you to be able to come back. Do you live close enough for your son to change?
No, I don't. I just want to know why it's different from my son.
I understand how you feel.
I don't want you to sympathize with me. I just want you to tell me why it's different for my son. I'm not looking for sympathy. I'm just asking you why it's different for my son.
I understand.
Then that little kid that was out there with athletic tennis shoes and...
The t-shirt that the little kid was wearing, we don't consider that to be athletic t-shirt.
Why?
Honestly, I did not get a good look, but it looked like a regular t-shirt.
I have a video. Do you want to see it?
If you would like to show it to me, I'm happy to look, but
Shalom, I give all undergoing and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. I give double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstones, salutations to all our sincere brothers pushing this word out across the four corners of the earth. And this is going into how America would never be the rest of the Israelites. And the Israelites today are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Hispanics, and Native Americans today. And all the mishaps, the misfortunes, the different social injustices, the racial discrimination, the curses, all falls upon the nation of Israel because that's that covenant that we broke with our Heavenly Father. In the Hebrew, his name is Yahweh. As a breach of contract, we had to face penalties. And one of the penalties was we was going to be like a reproach to these other nations across the four corners of the earth where the Most High was going to scatter us. And this is Micah 2:10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. And that your is a possessive adjective in second person. So that's showing some type of ownership that the Most High, he still owns us as his people. He pretty much rented us off to these other nations, mainly the Edomites, who are the so-called Caucasian race today. So we are like in their hands right now. But that's the beauty of what Yahweh did by sending his only begotten son, Yahushai, to die for the nation of Israel, beginning with the elect, so we can be brought back and be at one with the Most High Yahweh. So arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. It was never meant for us to be comfortable here in our captivity. We came here to serve a punishment. This is our prison term. So we are banking on these prophecies so we can get out of this prison term very soon. Because it is polluted, it should destroy you, even with its sword destruction. So you try to put your heart or your spirit, your blood, sweat, and tears in this society, is going to destroy you because it was never set up for you to make it in this society. It's like a spiritual bound that only the Israelites can make it to a certain point or reach in this society. And that's all orchestrated by Yahweh, Yahushai. And this is Jeremiah, the 23rd chapter in the 40th verse. And I will bring an everlasting reproach upon you. It's not going to be everlasting like a forever type of thing. But while we still here in this captivity, yes, it's going to be everlasting. So that's why we're looking forward to Yahushua to come back so he can rectify things on this planet Earth. And by one of those things he's going to rectify is by destroying America, known as Babylon the Great, according to the scriptures. So that everlasting reproach is going to that rebuke, that disgrace, that shame. The nation of Israel are looked at as that disapproval amongst all these other nations. That's why we get mocked at. That's why racial discrimination is at a very high peak concerning the nation of Israel. Social injustices, anything you name it that's bad is going to apply to the nation of Israel because that's that everlasting reproach, that rebuke from Yahweh, Yahushai. And a perpetual shame, meaning it's ongoing. So if you die here, and what we do believe, according to the scriptures, reincarnation does exist, when you come back here another lifetime, you still going to be under those curses. So it's a perpetual shame. It's ongoing throughout reincarnations, which should not be forgotten. In order for us to be judges in the next kingdom to come, which is the kingdom of heaven that's going to be on earth, we had to go through bad. We had to go through resistance. We had to go through negativity in order for us to appreciate the kingdom even more. For all the righteousness and all the wealth and all the sovereignty and power we're going to have in the next kingdom to come. So, of course, we got to go through that perpetual shame, that everlasting reproach, because that's that perfect balance. And therefore, we will have both experiences on both spectrums. With the bad side right now, what we're going through with these curses, and also on the good side when we make it to the kingdom of heaven, Lord willing. So that's the perfect balance right there. So as the hopeful elect, we're going to be perfect judges on this planet Earth and wherever we are scattered to on other planets, because we're going to have that dominion. And this is Jeremiah 24 verse 9. And I will deliver them to be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth for their hurt, to be a reproach and a proverb, because we will scatter across the four corners of the earth. You can read that In Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and 64th verse, he was going to scatter us. And also in the book of Isaiah, the 22nd chapter and the 18th verse, the Most High Yahweh stated that he was going to violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. So that's referencing to the transatlantic slave trade. We were scattered across the four corners of the earth to be a reproach and a proverb, a taunt and a curse in all places whither I should drive them. And this is the prayer of Azariah, the first verse. And they walked in the midst of the fire, praising Yahweh and blessing the Lord. Then Azariah stood up and prayed on this manner, and opening his mouth in the midst of the fire said, Blessed art thou, O Lord Yahweh of our fathers. Thy name is worthy to be praised and glorified forevermore. For thou art righteous in all the things that thou hast done to us. Yeah, true are all thy works. Thy ways are right, and all thy judgments true. So even though these curses, they hurt, they'll make you cry, they'll make you be in your feelings, make you be emotional. But at the same time, we deserve that punishment that Yahweh Yahushua put upon us as a people. We deserve it because we had everything in the palms of our hand due to the blessings that Yahweh poured upon us. So we want to be hard-headed and worship these other nations and their gods. So the Most High Yahweh, he was married to us as his wife, and he was like, the hell with you all. You see a lot of our people die horrible deaths when it comes to like eating abominable foods, or by the curses of the men of our nation getting gunned down. Right here it says, thy ways are right and all thy judgments true. So we deserve this as a nation. Verse 5, and all the things that thou hast brought upon us and upon the holy city of our fathers, even Jerusalem, thou hast executed true judgment. So everything that Yahweh Yahushua is doing on this earth right now, it is true judgment, especially upon the nation of Israel for being a hard-headed, stiff-necked people. For according to truth and judgment didst thou bring all these things upon us because of our sins. It goes right back to that contract. And you read that in Deuteronomy 28th chapter. That's the whole contract right there. If you follow my ways, if you keep my commandments, my laws, and my statutes, I will set thee high upon all nations. We were going to have blessings upon blessings. But if you do not my laws, statutes, and commandments, then here's my wrath I'm going to put upon you. And that goes right back to us breaking that covenant or that breach of contract. And that's why we are receiving the true judgments of Yahweh Yahushua till this day. And no matter where our people go to, you cannot run from the curses. It's a spiritual stigma. And that leads me to Lamentations, the second chapter and the first verse. How had the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger? When you watch those different cartoons back in the day, and they'll show a character having a bad day, he just going through so-called bad luck. All things are just going wrong in his day or in his life. And you see it was a cloud hovering over him. And in that cloud, it's like a dark, rainy cloud. And it's just raining upon him. It's just following him everywhere he go. So that's symbolizing the nation of Israel. No matter where we go, even we are across the four corners of the earth, we still going to be that reproach, that taunt, that proverb, that curse amongst all nations. So how had the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remember not his footstool in the day of his anger. But the true balance of this is not going to last forever. This was only for a little moment, as the scriptures say. But our light affliction is only but for a moment. As Yahushua stated also, my burden is light. And this is Micah 7:18. Who is a power like unto thee that pardoneth iniquity? And our Lord and Savior, Yahushua, is that spiritual bail bondsman. He's going to release us out of this prison term that we are in and pass it by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage, because at the end of the day, you have the nation of Israel, and they are the elect of all nations upon this earth. But within that, you have an elect. So that elect right there is talking about the 144,000 prophets out of the nation of Israel, and also the 1/3 out of the nation of Israel. So that's a small remnant that you can read about in the scriptures everywhere. And that's the one that Yahushua is going to come back and redeem. He retained not his anger forever because he delighted in mercy. So the great thing about this, we have a power that delights in mercy, integrity, grace. He will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and thou will cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. And that's also referring to 2/3 of the nation of Israel as well, because 2/3 of the nation of Israel are considered carnal. So they had to go through that carnal fire, which is going to those nuclear missiles, and also the chariots of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. But as the hopeful elect, we're going through that spiritual fire by catching all these different calamities, afflictions, just going through all type of hell and trials and tribulations. So that's the true balance right there. But at the end of the day, once the hopeful elect make it in the kingdom of heaven, then the ones of our people that died on this side, they're going to be born through the seed of the immortals, which are going to the elect. So they are coming back into the kingdom of heaven as well, with a new mind, a new spirit. He will turn again, he will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and thou wilt cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. Thou wilt perform the truth to Jacob and the mercy to Abraham, which thou hast sworn unto our fathers from the days of old. And that's integrity right there, because even though all the wicked things that we did to the Most High Yahweh to make him jealous, angry, and more furious, he's still going to have mercy upon the nation of Israel at the end of the day. So all Israel will be saved. But as for right now, we are still going through those curses, and this is not our rest. So as a hopeful elect, we are begging for these prophecies continue to come to pass, so Yahweh Shai can get us out, so we can live happily ever after, which is the kingdom of heaven. And with that, hope y'all was edified with this. You're going to see another video just proving how this is not our rest, and this will never be our rest. And with that, hope y'all was edified. Shalom.
How did you get used to it?
It took a while. I didn't stay on campus for my first 3-4 months of college.
Did you not stay on campus because of the culture shock?
Yeah, it was just too much of a culture shock. Like being around it, and it was a feeling that is so hard to explain, because I grew up in this urban environment, and I felt like that was the norm. To go into that, I couldn't imagine going to University of Kentucky, being from LA, being left out, trying to figure this out on my own. But it was rough. It was extremely rough, and I just wanted to stay in my element as long as possible till I felt comfortable being on campus.
Really?
Yeah.
So when you kind of decided to go back to campus and be around, everybody that was on campus, do you feel nervous? You feel like you won't be accepted? Like, what's the hesitation there? Yeah,
being nervous, not accepting, not having what they have, not not knowledgeable of the freedom of movement that they have. People always think it's cool for us as athletes just being an athlete, but at the end of the day, we people, we human beings, and we want to be accepted that way. So for me, not to be able to comprehend with a different culture and knowing that my culture looked down upon in a certain type of way was frustrating. So I shied away from it for a long time.
I wonder if we underestimate the challenge that Black athletes have going to white universities. And honestly, I don't know if I ever really sat and thought about it in that way, because I'm seeing so much of it from my experience. But a lot of these athletes that go and play sports are coming from areas where they probably have not interacted with a lot of white people. When I interviewed you for my show, we were talking about death. And you said that you were almost desensitized to it. The idea of people dying was something that had made you numb because you had seen it so much. So what is it like for you to see Black people be murdered by police?
Man, it's a thing that even with this last situation, rest in peace to George Floyd. When that situation happened, and I started seeing all the protesting, all the looting, you just start to see everything transpire. I remember I called my mom one night. I asked her, I said, I think I was 3 years old when the Watts riot happened, when Rodney King beating happened. And I just went and asked her what was I doing at 3 years old? Because especially me, I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old daughter. And I remember one day I had the news on, I'm seeing all the fires and all the buildings on fire, and I see my kids sitting there, and they really not knowing and understanding what's going on. So I put myself in their shoes, and I remember I called my mom, and I asked myself, what was going on. And, you know, it gave me a perspective on what type of lifestyle I was living and grew up in, of that being the norm. And it was more so like, yeah, you were sitting there playing, but, you know, so much after that transpired and became worse and worse in my lifetime to made me feel desensitized to certain tragedies, because, you know, you got to keep going, you got to keep moving, you got to keep pushing, you know, and it was one of those things to where, you know, they didn't have it figured out, but it was more so like, yeah, that's what the police do.
Yeah.
So growing up, it was more so me knowing and feeling like, oh, that's a norm. Or the police, oh, they just can't wait to catch a black man doing something wrong so they could do this to you. You know what I mean? This is way before cameras and all this filming stuff was going on. It was always like, growing up was taught to me was like, by all means, if you see the police, let them pass by, then go about your business. You know, it gave me an uncomfortable factor of, because growing up, it was so normal to think and fear the police because you didn't want to end up like in a situation like that with them. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So it's about suspicious activity, man.
Suspicious activity? Where about?
They say someone
view that camera. I told them what I was doing.
Oasis Son's right here next to the El Rodeo.
I told them what I was doing. I was waiting for my sister, the Western Union, me some money. I always go there and get Western Union, and they know me.
Hey, you got your ID on you?
Yes, I got my ID. What are you guys doing?
We're out here investigating suspicious activity, sir.
I'm not doing anything. I've been around cameras, so I ain't been doing nothing.
All right. So what were you doing over there at the Walgreens?
Waiting for Western Union. Call my sister right now. She's in Florida. You have a cell phone, call her. Don't
call who?
Like this. Call my sister in Florida. Don't do this. What are you doing? Oh my God! What are you doing?
Put your hands behind your back like you told. Put your hands.
What are you doing? Oh, Jesus. Oh my God. Oh, please.
Put your hands.
I wasn't doing anything. Oh my God. Jesus. Oh my God. You know my wrist. Oh my God.
Stop.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he might be broke.
Oh Jesus. Oh my God. 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 Oh Jesus. Oh, it's hurt. Oh my God.
Yeah, hold on.
Please, sir. Oh God. Oh, Jesus. Oh, it hurts.
I'm okay.
What did you guys arrest me for?
You have a warrant for your arrest.
Hey, this was the other guy. The guy with the warrants over there.
Oh, what do you
Huh? No, there's two different people. Because they pointed this guy out to me.
I'm so confused. Wait.
Okay, so...
Not the one with the warrant?
No.
You get his ID and stuff?
Yeah.
Drunk?
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Hold on, sir. Hold on. We got an ambulance coming, okay? You don't want to talk to the ambulance?
Oh my God.